Are you ready? We're in season 2 because this quarantine is never finishing, apparently, of Entrepreneurs in Quarantine. I just went onto your website to order coffee from you, and La Trentaine en Quarantaine is complete genius. Mademoiselle with the curly hair and the great crema in the coffee. Who are you? What do you do, Mademoiselle?
My name is Taina, but they call me Coffee Queen. So I just took ownership of that title a couple of years ago in Montreal because I have a coffee business. I'm not a coffee shop. I'm not a roaster. I do B2B. That's my core. We do offices and restaurant chains. And now during COVID, all my clients are closed. So I took Coffee Queen one step further, made it a brand, and got coffee for people at home. So that's who I am in a very small nutshell.
And you are a boule d'énergie waiting to explode. And I want to get into probably one of the hardest things that you had to do, and I really want to pick your brain on this. You're a B2B kind of gal, kind of entrepreneur. Your business stops March 16th. It's over for you.
Oh,
What
it's
goes
closed.
what goes through your mind? Um, what's the process when you learn that your business is stopped?
So I don't remember the dates, but I remember the day of the week. The Monday, everybody was a bit panicked, and then the Tuesday, I got emails from all my clients saying they're closing down, so to cancel all deliveries and everything. The Tuesday afternoon, I honestly, the only thing I thought about was how can I sell coffee online for people at home? That's the only thought process that came to me.
And
There
that's
was nothing
immediate. There's no, oh my God,
immediate.
I've spent 5 years building my business and it's over. Your first reflex is an entrepreneurial reflex of I got to get my coffee out.
That's it. I didn't even think about the repercussions, the risk, because the truth is, so me, I have this thing where I'm really good to put problems behind my head when I can't do nothing about it. Like I will not lose sleep over things that are out of my control.
Sure.
That's my superpower. Like if it's out of
Yeah.
my control, I will sleep like a baby. I will live like it never existed. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, it's out of my control. We know nothing. Everybody's in the same case. I can put that completely behind my head. Whatever happens with my regular business, I will have to deal with it when it happens. But right now, there's nothing I can do. Anyways, every day a new fund is out. Like you couldn't do anything back then. So the only thing is like I need sales. And it's really funny because a couple of weeks before that, I gave a mandate to students at HEC Montréal with a teacher, third year, like des finissants en troisième année HEC en marketing. And the mandate, their whole session work, no, we don't say semester work, sorry. I'm very French. The semester work was on what if I launched a B2C brand for coffee for people at home. So I had the best of luck that a couple of days after this happened, I put all my efforts into getting out. In 24 hours, I had a bag of coffee to sell online you could order. Right? It's like in 24 hours, it was done. It had an ugly ass branding and logo, but it was on the bag. And 4 days later, the bags were in the warehouse and they were shipped to people 5-6 days later, right? But I had this work from the student that said, hey, you should brand this. This is your persona. And I had 3 teams of 6 people that are incredibly brilliant work on that. So I had my ideas, my background. I'm already like selling coffee is my shit. So whether it's online or in offices, it's the thing. And that's the only place my brand went. And it's the only place I allowed myself to go because everything else was too depressing. And this was highly stimulating. It's new ideas, huge learning curve, but I can bolt. I like that. I like big learning curves that I can bolt through.
You threw yourself out of the plane and you figured out how to build a parachute on the way down. So you went from you were always a personality, larger than life. People love to be around you, but you had to tone it down, I think, a little bit because B2B, the branding, the personal branding is not so important. Where you go to B2C, where now you finally get to use your personality, all of the tricks and tools and things and lessons that you've learned, you finally get to create a community. And people are à l'écoute. You're on Instagram talking about your tips, your failures. You're calling people out. You're praising people that deserve it. Tell us about how important your brand, how central how having a brand around you has allowed you to sell and create Coffee Queen 2.0.
Yeah, it's dope. Okay, so it's right before COVID. I was in Morocco. I gave a conference in Morocco with Serge Beauchemin, one of the dragons, about how can a small business make its place on a marketplace that's dominated by giants, which is my marketplace for B2B. Nespresso, Van Hood, and all the amazing local roasters that have been doing this for 50 years. Okay,
Sure.
so everybody's bigger, bolder, has more money and more notoriety than I have. But yet I am still there and thriving, right? So what I told these people in Morocco is that whether you're in B2B and you're a big corporation and you're not giving a personality to your brand, meaning there's not someone inside your business, a human face, everywhere on social media associating your brand with that face, you're making a huge mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And
why?
I tell this.
Why are you making a mistake?
You're making a huge mistake because your personal brand, and the proof is me right now, because everybody told me you're losing so much time on social media, Tana. Nobody likes you, on LinkedIn, no one cares. Like, why are you so much on Instagram? I don't understand. You should be selling. It's like, dude, you don't understand. From one day to no store online to making fucking $2,000 for a week straight every day selling fucking coffee online, the only reason is I worked for the past 6 years on my personal brand.
Yes.
So who's the dumbass?
Yes. You invest. Right? This is not a short term. You don't just pop up with great hair and great coffee and people buying into it. This took a long time, and so I want to tell this is I had a great quote on the last episode of Entrepreneurs in Quarantine, and someone says, COVID is a marathon. It's not a sprint. The people that pop up trying to make a buck or reinventing themselves, it's not going to work. You have to have that goodwill capital built in order to cash in on it now. Tell us about how important it is to be patient, because you coach these people.
What you just said is so interesting. You don't just pop out and then people just buy your coffee, and you need capital. And it's really cool because, we've been following each other for so long. We both, I have capital in coffee, right? But the people that are already like e-com gurus and all those people that I have mostly on Facebook that are like coaching for e-com, and then all the people that have been doing e-com for a very long time. I have friends that make millions online for 5-6 years, right? So they know their shit. They feel like I just pop out of nowhere. And they tell me, well, you're not going to make it. It's not going to work like that. It's just that there's a very deep vision that is thriving towards creating fluidity between B2C and B2B for coffee for my business. If I have one person at home that convinces their boss to get my coffee in the office once they go back to work, that will have paid for the past 3 months of a very intensive advertisement online.
Amazing.
So there's like a depth to it that is important to get, and social media is a massive part of it. Yes.
So that's very interesting, because you talked about if somebody you're selling B2C to brings in their coffee for their boss once COVID is over, do you keep what you're doing now? Do you have your left brain and your right brain B2B, B2C, or do you kill B2C and go back to B2B? What happens when this is over for you?
Well, the great thing is that I'm obsessed with automation, and all the people that automated my B2B side are actually specialists in automating B2C. So the goal is to understand the patterns of what I need to produce in terms of content to keep people interested, which is about the tips and tricks about launching a business and making it grow. But in a very company of one, in a very small, like, it's not blitz scaling, right? Like, this is not my shit. If you have like a massive e-com and you want VCs and raise $500,000 next year, like, I am not your girl. But if you have a company and you want a secure lifestyle business, I can kind of show you how to do it, because I built it for myself, so that's my angle. And that's the majority of people actually, anyway, so that's the majority of the people that it talks to. So giving these people that value, hooking them to it, and having them drink my coffee or my tea, and having them so close to my entrepreneurial story that when they go back to the office and they see a freaking espresso that's at the price, they tell their boss, hey, look at this girl. She has B2B. Look, they do all this. you know? So
I
that's
love
the
that. I love that.
whole,
I love that so
yeah.
much. And that brings us, we had a really good chat. Talking about automation, I literally, as I pressed the record button on the Skype call, I ordered my bag of coffee. It took me 16 seconds. I got my message. So I'm going to be drinking it on Entrepreneurs in Quarantine for the next couple of seasons, because it looks like we'll be in quarantine for a couple more weeks. So my coffee is going to show up in the next couple of days. What I love about what you're doing, and that's something that you and I connect on, is giving value to the community, bringing people into your world and giving them access to your contacts, your bankers, your lawyers, the things that have made you go up, and leaving out the things that have made you go down. Tell us about what the Coffee Queen gang is all about, the community you're creating, why people should join, and how that links to your coffee.
Okay, so I started, so I knew nothing about BDC or online sales, right? So 3 weeks ago, I had never sold anything online in my entire life, ever. Like, you introduced me to Shopify. I was like, whoa, this is a new fucking universe for me. So what I did to understand what you said you already got an email, right? About, hey, thank you for buying, or whatever the hell it said. So I put myself towards funnels for people that sell funnels. Okay, so the books Sell Like Crazy, and all those guys that you were bombarded with, like, oh, make millions of dollars online and never wake up in the morning ever again, like all of those things. So I put myself through the sales funnels of these guys so I could see how they manage their community, the stuff that they send me, how they try to sell me what. So I got Sell Like Crazy. It was free, but you had to pay $20 for shipping. Okay, that's But you see, I got a big book. I see massive value in it. One thing that book said, it said, before you ask people to buy from you every day, what are you going to give them? So before
give them value, sister.
There you go. So what are you going to give them? Before every day I tag you on my website, and then you see a carousel of a nice bag of coffee on Instagram. Before you click on that bag again, I have to give you something.
I deserve something.
You deserve something, and that value, you get the Skype call. That's what you get for now. But so the value that I'm bringing is, okay, the only thing I know how to do is how to start a business and create processes and access to my Codex. How do old people call that?
Rolodex.
The Rolodex, and give access to my Rolodex to the people that follow me. And in the end, if you think that's cool, if it helped you, man, my coffee's bomb. So just rather than buying it at a grocery store, or buying it from,
and it's good coffee, and it's and you're supporting local businesses, and you're supporting somebody that you believe in. And so you're giving value. It makes sense. It's smart, but you're making it entertaining, right? This is the Coffee Queen show at the end of the day. Let's not be fooled. You talk well, you're smart, but you're fun to listen to, because you're larger than life, and that's why I think people love to follow you, because it makes sense, and it's fun, and it's straight talk. Tell us about what has surprised you, what has depressed you during COVID, about human nature, about business people. Do you find that people are more ruthless now? People are more shallow? People are looking out for themselves? Or are you happy with humanity?
Well, I'm happy with the people that are around me. So I'm very happy about everybody that's around me, all my friends, and all my business relations, that we see each other once in a while, but when we need something, we call each other and we're there. They were fucking there. Sorry, I swear a lot, but
it's okay. It's okay. Let it out.
And they were really there. Like, I have a group of entrepreneurs through a program called Adopt Inc. And we kind of made a promise we had a sick essay, we're plaster drunk a couple of weeks ago, and then we're like, we're always going to be there for each other, like that kind of stuff, because we said, even if somebody's not an entrepreneur anymore, it's still going to be part of our gang, and we love him, and whoever that might be 5-6 years down the road. And that group, when we reach out to each other, we were there for everybody. Like, like the first day of COVID for me was the day they said non-essential business are to close tomorrow by midnight or to noon or whatever, I don't remember. And because I don't pack the coffee myself at home, like we're already set for massive shipping and distribution for B2B. We already do that. We're already bosses at that. It's already working well. So I took my same business that I work with to do the B2C for coffee. Anyways, their specialty is online sales. It's like a 3P, right? It's like an Amazon warehouse that just ship. And I call them and they say, yeah, we're closing. And I have a container, a 40-feet container of coffee coming from Italy that left 4 days before Italy closed down. That was at sea, ETA 30th of March. And then we're like the 27th of March. I don't remember what date it was. And he said all non-essential businesses are closing. And my warehouse, that is my shipping, closes too. And at that moment, we haven't received our coffee yet from the local roaster to ship, but we sold online hundreds of bags of coffee. And I was like, I'm going to shut down before I get one bag of coffee out.
Wow.
I was discouraged completely. So I reached out to someone in that group and I said, I don't know what to do. She said, oh, it's so simple. You're going to ship from home. Like, what do you mean? I don't have the printer. I don't have this. You're going to call this guy. It's midnight. She sent an email. The guy answered. They set me up with this new thing line to get shipping and UPS and Pascan to come to your house to pick up shit. She's got, you're going to buy this printer. You're going to go there. I went from discouraged to I have a plan in 30, 40 minutes at midnight with people involved. Thank God. The warehouse didn't close, so I didn't have to ship coffee from home.
Amazing.
But if you ask me if I'm happy about the people around me supporting, oh my God, this is what, like, it's midnight, it's crisis. You're getting me in touch.
People have your back. People are like, what do you need?
People are there, and then I need a solution for my container. Where do you put a 40-feet container if your warehouse closed? Where do you put it? What do you do with it?
You're not parking it on St. Catherine.
You're not parking it anywhere. And you know how much the freaking port, like the Le Port, it's $300 US a day. So let's say your truck is late and didn't pick it up. It's $300 US. You know how fast that eats your margin on a container?
Yeah. You're not eating for a couple months.
Dude! The Canadian dollar is like dying, So I called someone from another circle. She has a warehouse. She said, no problem. Once he gets there, put it in my warehouse. We'll unpack it. We'll put it there. There's no stress, So I had everything fixed in a couple of hours after 11 p.m. And that's when I understood the power of my Rolodex. And that's when I understood that these are the things that make a difference in times of crisis for entrepreneurs, small businesses or bigger ones. Because you can have 10 containers in your you have 2 containers and it's still something. So I said, okay, so there's people that need help like this. I'm going to try to do that for people and put all my tips and tricks in.
Amazing.
You remember when we did that interview about imports?
Of course, years ago.
Yeah, I'm going to write a blog about that. And the things that I told you, I realized no one actually knows. So I'm going to put it in my blog and I'm going to give to people and say, hey, you need to know this, that, this, and that. You're responsible for this, for that. If you have a problem with this, you can call that person and just give them my process to try to avoid fatal mistakes.
And they'll buy coffee. And they'll buy coffee to thank you.
What?
They're going to buy coffee to thank you. Now, what I love about everything...
Or tea. We have great.
Or tea. Sorry. What I love about everything that I've just heard in the last 19 minutes is c'est le mariage. It's a marriage between social media, staying relevant and in people's faces, creating value, but using the Rolodex, using the Codex, because that's where the power is. It's the personal relationship. It's not on the DMs. It's not on the Skype calls and all this. It's the old school on the phone et en personne. And I think that you're marrying the two, and that's going to be a huge opportunity when this is all over. So thank you for sharing all these tips with us. Mademoiselle Coffee Queen, how do we join your group? How do I reach you? How can I reach out to you? And where do I buy your coffee?
All right. So if you're a coffee or tea drinker, we got you covered. If you like the content, it will always be free. The money of exchange is coffee or tea. You can get me on coffeequeen.ca. But my favorite thing is for you to follow me on Instagram because that's where I put the more fun stuff.
The
So
real
Coffee
stuff.
Queen. Yes. And on Facebook, our group is called Coffee Gang. So if you put a hashtag Coffee Gang, you'll find us. If you put it on Facebook, you'll find us. It's a private group. So there's like 2-3 questions and not everybody gets in, okay? Because
Nice.
I'm trying to create a climate of, first of all, security, because people are going to talk about their real business issues and you don't want everybody to know about that. Second of all, it's a specific philosophy of business. So I don't want people that are already making a lot of money and then being, no, what you need is a VC. No, what you need is this and that. This growth, this is not the growth that you should be aiming forward, because these are the things that I receive a lot from different categories and entrepreneurs. So I'm trying to keep it very helpful and direct for people that are more at an early stage or that already have a business, but I want to make it grow. They need to automate. They need new processes. So this is what we're trying to do. Does it make sense? Or
it makes 100% sense. You want to make sure that there's a climate of trust and confiance with like-minded people.
Yes,
and that makes complete sense. Now, the last thing I'm going to ask you before I call off this episode 17 is, why do you have a red card in your back pocket?
You mean this one?
What is that card for, Madame Taina?
Okay, it's a red card. C'est un carton rouge d'arbitre. You know, when you play soccer and then you're like, red card, because you did something stupid that needs to be called out. So I walk around with this red card and I give red card to business behaviors. I do that on my Instagram because I'm pretty straightforward with it. You know, I make a lot of fun of a lot of behaviors and a lot of things. So I give red cards all the time. And my favorite red cards to give are like, you know, like the BNIs and all the people that act weird around BNIs are my favorite people to give red cards to.
What's the last red card you gave? Give us an example.
What's the last? I gave a very funny red card. Oh, well, I gave a red card recently because I figured out that some of my competitors are using fake Instagram account to sneak up on me and look at what I do. So I give them a red card. First of all, fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's good. That's worthy.
Fake account, coffee lover, okay? You know what I mean? We know that. It's obvious. And it's just stupid, bad behavior. I give red cards for... Oh, no. Let me rephrase this. I'll give you my favorite red cards. My favorite red cards are men hitting on women on fucking LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn and you actually DM a woman to tell her she has a really nice smile and she should be a model, because it happened to me yesterday.
Give him a red card.
Card, okay?
Look out, men of LinkedIn. There's a new sheriff in town, and her name is Coffee Queen.
And I'm thinking about regrouping all of the men hitting on women on LinkedIn and putting a public website. Like, it's outrageous.
So be careful, because you will be called out.
This is what is... What?
Guys, this was another episode of Entrepreneurs in Quarantine. I love that episode because there's so much value in there. Your energy's off the charts. Thank you so much for spending time with us this morning. I can't wait to get my coffee.
I'm gonna come there fast.
And we're gonna be following in with you. Coffee Gang. Get in the group.
Coffee Gang.
Merci beaucoup. À très bientôt.